and welcome to Upside Down Pilates. Today's lesson will focus on the glenohumeral joint, also known as the shoulder joint. Lonnie, Malia, and Eileen, as well as Herman, will be joining us. So let's go through a nice warm-up. Go ahead and lie down, ladies. And we'll just go through our spinal articulation series. Bring your arms down by your sides. Find your nice neutral pelvis. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, roll to your 12 o'clock and slowly peel your spine up off from the mat. Good. Take a big breath in. And exhale from top to bottom, roll back down. Good. Inhale and exhale, roll up. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rolling down. 3, 2, 1, and rolling up. 2, 3, and 4, and rolling down. 2, 3, one more time. Exhale up. 2, 3, take a breath and rolling down. 2, 3. Great. Go ahead and lengthen your legs out long onto your mat. Flex your feet for the long lever hip lift. Reminding yourself of your wonderful strings to bring yourself into nutation. So your string at your belly button is pulling straight down towards the mat. Your string at your sacrum is pulling straight up towards the ceiling, and your 2 strings at the backs of your hamstrings, right up by your sits bones, are reaching straight up to the ceiling. Take a big breath and exhale. Engage your strings and lift your hips and lower down and lift your hips and lower down and lift your hips and lower down. 2 more times. Lift your hips, lower down. Last one. Exhale, lift and stay. Pick up your right foot, cross it over your left, and lower down and lift the hips, lower down, and exhale, lift, lower down. 2 more. Exhale, lift, lower down. 1 more with a smile, and lift. Keep it up there. Bring your right foot down, cross that left leg over. It's a Pilates party. And lower down, and lift your hips, and lower down. Good. Lift it up and lower down. 2 more times. Exhale, lift, lower down. 1 more. Exhale, lift. Good. Bring your left foot back down and lower your hips. Nice. Let's come up onto all fours for cat stretch. Palms underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. Remember, like we talked about last time, keep your elbows slightly bent so you're not hyperextended. Keep your upper middle back reaching to the ceiling so that your serratus anterior is firing up nice and deeply, and always keep your belly to your back and your back to your belly. Deep inhale. Exhale, curl your pelvis under into 12, rounding your spine. Reach your head to the ground and your tail to the ground. You can look at your pubic bone. Take a breath, and now exhale. Start with your tailbone, lead out, and roll yourself back into neutral, and keep your upper middle back reaching to the ceiling as you come back. Beautiful. Take a breath, and exhale. Round under, tailbone down, reach your head down, middle back to the ceiling. Take a breath and exhale. Roll back to neutral. Keep the upper middle back up, elbows still slightly bent. 1 more deep breath. Exhale, curl the pelvis under and round. Big breath, and exhale, roll back into neutral. Good. We're going to go ahead and challenge our shoulder girdle stability a little bit. So let's bring our knees together all the way. And you're going to tuck your toes under like you're running a race. Good. Again, keep your elbows slightly bent, your upper middle back to the ceiling, and your shoulders drawing down to your hips. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, just lift the knees slightly off from the ground. Make sure your upper middle back stays wide. And lower your knees back down. That was so fun. Let's do it again. Inhale and exhale, lift up. Are your elbows still slightly bent? Is your upper middle back still to the ceiling? And lower down. And just one more time, deep breath, and exhale, lift. Very nice, ladies, and go ahead and lower down. And go back into child's pose, or you can flip over onto your back and bring your knees into your chest, Eileen. Good. Excellent work.
Hi, my name is George Yoon. I just purchased the place at 2765 Kapiolani, and the price and everything was really my range, and the location, the best that I could ever find out. Have an area like that for that kind of price, and like I said, here's the start of my successful life.
The elegance you remember about the Bistro at Century Center is available for your important event for groups from 6 to 600. We bring the Bistro and its award-winning cuisine to your home, club, or a lovely tent. Please call us at Bistro Catering.
Hi, my name is George Yoon. I just purchased the place at 2765 Kapiolani, and the price and everything was really my range, and the location, the best that I could ever find out. Have an area like that for that kind of price, and like I said, here's the start of my successful life.
Does a career as a medical assistant, a pharmacy technician, or an office assistant interest you? The Hawaii Technology Institute is just the place for you. Experience a learning environment where you can thrive and learn among friends and peers. Small class sizes, family atmosphere, and a variety of classes and programs you can choose from. Expand your career opportunities. Call the Hawaii Technology Institute today, 522-2700.
The elegance you remember about the Bistro at Century Center is available for your important event for groups from 6 to 600. We bring the Bistro and its award-winning cuisine to your home, club, or a lovely tent. Please call us at Bistro Catering.
So last lesson, we talked about the shoulder girdle, the clavicle and the scapula and its movements. Now we're going to focus today on the glenohumeral joint, or that shoulder joint right in here, okay? So pretty much what that is just where the humerus bone, or your arm bone, articulates with your scapula, okay? The head of the humerus, as you can see, rolls around right inside on this little surface here, and it's very small. So that means our glenohumeral joint is extremely unstable, which gives us a lot of mobility, but it's also an area that gets injured quite frequently if we don't keep our muscles strong around that area, okay? Our rotator cuff muscles are the ones that pretty much snug this arm bone right up into that socket, okay? The supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres major, and teres minor, and the subscapularis all work in concert together to pull the humeral head right into the socket, okay? And you can see they all kind of come together here and make a cuff, and that's what is considered the rotator cuff. So sometimes people will have an injury, they say they have a rotator cuff injury, and it's generally one of these muscles or possibly a ligament in that area that's actually the injury is coming from. So this obviously works very closely with our shoulder girdle. Okay, so we talked about last time how the serratus anterior and the lower trapezius need to be very strong so that we can rotate our scapula down and around into our armpit, allowing this to open up, so that this hole shines up to the ceiling and the arm bone can freely float up there without smashing into the acromion process, okay? I don't know if we can all see that here. Now, If the rotator cuff muscles are also not strong, the head of the humerus will be kind of flying around in there, if you want to put it that way. If they're not strong, even if the scapula does tend to rotate in the right direction, the pull of the muscles in the rotator cuff might not pull exactly the way that we want them to, and that can be a problem too. Okay, so we have to have a strong shoulder girdle as well as a strong rotator cuff. Okay, the movements that we have available to us, according to the kinesiologists, we have upward rotation or abduction, so upward rotation of the scapula and abduction of the humerus, and then downward rotation of the scapula and adduction of the humerus. We have flexion, extension. Flexion can go all the way up here. There's also a fancy one called horizontal adduction and horizontal abduction. So that's what they call it if your arm is already outside and you're pulling it in and opening it. And we also have internal rotation and external rotation. And that's one that's very difficult to make happen. So it's sometimes easiest to do it to make sure to bend your elbow so you don't get confused about moving your hand and just moving your humerus bone right inside of the socket, internal rotation and external rotation. Okay?
Hi, my name is George. I just purchased the place at 2765 Capulani, and the price and everything was really my range, and the location, the best that I could ever find out. Have an area like that for that kind of price, and like I said, here's the start of my successful life.
Does a career as a medical assistant, a pharmacy technician, or an office assistant interest you? The Hawaii Technology Institute is just the place for you. Experience a learning environment where you can thrive and learn among friends and peers. Small class sizes, family atmosphere, and a variety of classes and programs you can choose from. Expand your career opportunities. Call the Hawaii Technology Institute today, 522-2700.
Hi, my name is George. I just purchased the place at 2765 Capulani, and the price and everything was really my range, and the location, the best that I could ever find out. Have an area like that for that kind of price, and like I said, here's the start of my successful life.
The elegance you remember about the Bistro at Century Center is available for your important event for groups from 6 to 600. We bring the bistro and its award-winning cuisine to your home, club, or a lovely tent. Please call us at Bistro Catering.
So now let's take this information and apply it to our own bodies. We're going to go through a visualization and then some movements to actually make the upward rotation and downward rotation of the scapula happen, making sure that the rotator cuff muscles are working together in concert without our upper trapezius attacking our ears, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is just visualize what's happening, okay? To begin, we want to start in a nice neutral pelvis. So make sure you're sitting right on top of your sits bones. Make sure your ribs are drawing back and your scapula is already wide. Good, very nice. And let's draw your ribs back just a bit more, Malia. Excellent. Good, very, very nice. Okay, and let's go ahead and close your eyes. And I just want you to imagine where your scapula are on your back, okay? So feel how your scapula sit right, and remember your scapula are your shoulder blades, yeah? And in your mind's eye, just imagine your shoulder blades drawing down to your hips. So just imagine, we don't even really have to do the movements, just imagine that it's happening, that your shoulder blades glide down your back and draw down to your hips. And now, in your mind's eye, imagine these shoulder blades, after they draw down, start to wrap around your ribs, almost following the line or the diagonal of your ribs and how they fall. And as they start to wrap down and around, imagine that your humerus bone starts to lift, so you're able to start to lift your arms. And still just imagining, go ahead and continue to imagine your shoulder blades starting to wrap open as your arm floats all the way freely up overhead. And just imagining this right now. So now imagine that your arm is up over your head. And imagine that your tops of your shoulders are relaxed. But now imagine that underneath your armpits, underneath your arms, are working very hard to help hold your arm up. Good. And now in your mind's eye, slowly imagine that your arm starts to descend and that you control your arm with your shoulder blade and the muscles controlling your shoulder blade, and then your arm comes down to rest. Excellent. And now let's imagine the other arm. Imagine that you pull your shoulder blade down to your hips. And now imagine that that shoulder blade starts to wrap around and into your armpit, almost to the front. And again, in your mind's eye, imagine that the hole in your scapula shines up to the ceiling, allowing your humerus bone to float freely up. So that allows your arm to glide all the way up overhead. And once your arm gets up overhead, make sure that there's no tension in the tops of your shoulders, but there's a lot of work underneath your arm helping to hold it up. Good. And now keep your eyes closed, but let's actually do it. And we'll do both arms at the same time. Okay? So here we go. Glide your shoulders down your back. Start to wrap your scapula around and forward into your armpits. And allow that wrap to start to glide your arms out to the side. And allow your arms to start to float freely up overhead. And as they're floating freely up overhead, make sure that your shoulder blades wrap into your armpits. Beautiful. And now that you're here, notice what's happening in your upper trapezius and your shoulders. Good. Take a moment to feel your ribs connecting backwards and wide, and you're still in neutral. Because if you have your torso with its 4 natural curves in the spine, it makes it a lot easier to move those shoulders around the way that they need to. And now slowly start to glide your arms down and feel how your scapula start to wrap around and come back down. Good. And let's do one more. Go ahead, glide your shoulders down. Reach out through the arms, start to lift them up. Feel your scapula wrap open and wide, and allow your arms to come right up overhead. Once you get there, make sure your abdominals are connected, your ribs are connected, your shoulder blades are wide in the back. Good. And start to float them down freely with no tension in your shoulders, feeling the work from underneath your scapula to pull your arms down. Good. Beautiful, ladies. Go ahead and rest.
Watch the Hawaii Real Estate Report on OC16 and get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Vegas. Some restrictions apply. Win a home or business surveillance kit, courtesy of Ohana Security Group. Get a free list of foreclosures updated every week with the latest foreclosure properties and auctions. Watch the Hawaii Real Estate Report on OC16, Saturdays at 9:30 p.m., Sundays at 12:30 p.m., and shown throughout the week. Check out www.hawaiirealestatereport.com for more details.
And now let's go ahead and challenge our shoulder girdle stability and our glenohumeral mobility with a fun little exercise. What you're going to do is we'll start with the right shoulder. You're going to take your left hand and wrap your left hand around and grab onto your right shoulder blade. Now, if you have a lot of flesh, this can be kind of challenging, but do your best to wrap around, and actually you're going to hold on to the scapula or the shoulder blade. There's a little line there that you can grab onto. Good. And now you're going to take your right hand and put it on top of your right shoulder. Good. And if you do have some sort of rotator cuff injury, this might not be the best thing to do for you because it may actually hurt. But if it doesn't hurt, you should be good to go. Now, keep a hold of your scapula, and what you're going to try and do is open your arm sideways without letting your shoulder blade move. So it'll feel like your shoulder blade is pushing forward as your elbow opens out. Good. And now bring your elbow back forward and see if you can keep your shoulder relatively in the same place. And let's go again. Open the elbow out. And again, it'll feel like you push your shoulder blade forward because that's your serratus anterior snuggling your scapula right up against your rib cage. And go again. Open your elbow out. Now we're going to try and only do this movement in the glenohumeral joint. You're going to turn your elbow up to the ceiling and rotate your arm in. Beautiful. And now turn your elbow down, or the inside of your arm down, and open it out. And your goal while doing this is to keep your upper trapezius, or the upper part of your shoulder, quiet. And pull it in and up, and rotate it down and out. And one more time, pull it in and up, and down and out. And now stay here and start to open your arm outside. And lengthen it as wide as you can, and allow your left arm to come down. And feel the width and the distance of your arm as you reach your arm outside. And go back into your ribs. Make sure they're pulled in. Make sure your belly is in and you're right on top of your sits bones. Good. And lower that arm down. And let's try the other arm. So grab onto your left scapula. Take your right hand around. Grab onto your left shoulder blade. And go ahead and open the elbow side, and it'll feel like your scapula pushes forward. And close the elbow. And again, open the elbow side and close the elbow. And open the elbow side and close the elbow. Good. Open the elbow side, and now rotate the inside of your arm to the ceiling and pull it across. So this is training your subscapularis in particularly, just in case you wanted to know. And turn your arm down and open the elbow out. And turn the arm up and across, and the arm down and out. And up and across, and down and out. And one more time, up and across, and down and out. Good. And now reach your arm out to the side long and feel the distance and the width with your scapula opening wide. Keep your belly button in and those ribs connected, and go ahead and let your right arm slide down and keep reaching long. Good. And bring that arm down. Nice. So let's practice lifting our arms up over our head one more time with the idea and the awareness in the motion in the rotator cuff. Okay, so keep your ribs together, and you can keep your eyes open this time. Start to reach your arms out wide to the side. Feel your scapula wrap down, around, forward into your armpits, and bring your arm up overhead like you're holding a nice big ball. Good. Stay there. Feel the ribs connect and feel the upper middle back widen. Good. Good. And start to reach the arms out and down and feel the scapula wrap right back to where they started. Good. And one more time. Feel the shoulder blades glide down. Feel the scapula wrap around and see if it's a little easier to lift your arms now that you've woken up all those rotator cuff muscles. Good. And reach out and bring them back down. Good. Excellent work. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week when we focus on our knees.